Hey everyone, thanks for being part of small group this week. So here's the thing, I'm part of a really big family. I mean, like a really big extended family. You see, I've got 11 first cousins on my mom's side. Now, they're all married now, so you can actually go about and double that. I have three sets of aunts and uncles, and nearly all of us grew up within just a few miles of one another. And in fact, some of us even grew up more or less down the street. We'd have a family party for everyone's birthday. How many parties is that each year? Almost 30 different birthday parties. Not only that, but we celebrate just about all the holidays together as well. Now, I happen to be the second youngest out of all of the cousins, so number 10 out of 11. Growing up, I was never in the same life stage as all of my older cousins, but they all happen to be around. So I could go through a list of my cousins and share special memories I have with just about all of them. As a kid, my oldest cousin, or she was my math tutor in the summer. Her brother was my English teacher and discipled me in high school. And their brother was an amazing soccer player. I went to tons of his games, and he taught me a thing or two when it came to playing soccer. Now, another one of my cousins, she was my Spanish teacher in high school. And then another cousin would drive me and her brother to the pool often in the summer. In fact, I was a groomsman in his wedding, and he's still one of my closest friends to this day. It's unusual to be part of a family like mine. In many respects, I feel like many of my cousins were really important parts of my upbringing. I mean, they were there for really important moments. But as the youngest, I wasn't able to do much for them. That is, until they had kids. You see, I have 10 first cousins, but now I have 20 second cousins. I see most of those second cousins throughout the year at family gatherings and vacations. As they grew up, we were taught that it was our responsibility to care for them by looking out for them, by playing with them, by teaching them the things that we were taught by our older cousins. I think I've done that a little bit. Well, now, here's the thing. I have kids, so what do you think is happening? Now my kids want to FaceTime their cousins and ask them the same questions. When we're on vacation, I watch my second cousins, the younger ones who are still in high school, I watch them take care of my kids, play with them, and teach them really important things. It's really amazing. Well, our passage this week is Romans chapter 12, verse 10. It says, "Be devoted to one another in love. Honor one another above yourselves." In the original Greek, that word that we translate as devoted refers to being committed to someone in the same way that family is committed to each other. Now, some of us haven't experienced commitment from family members, but we all know how family should care for one another. We all know that family should be loving and patient. They should be with you for the long haul in this journey. They should be consistent, always there for you and eager to help and cheer you on. And Paul is saying that we, Christians, as a community of people, and that's what we call the church, we should be committed to one another just like a family. We should want to see each other experience the best things, spiritually speaking. We should be eager to help one another and to serve one another. When I was in middle school, my mom was diagnosed with cancer. It was really bad. She was in the hospital for a while. At the time, I went to a private Christian school. It wasn't a small school, but it was definitely smaller than all the schools that a lot of us go to. But here's the thing. Everyone was really close to each other, and they knew each other. That year, parents of students in my class, they committed to making lunches for me every day. What my classmates got for lunch, I got for lunch. These people treated me like I was their kid. They took care of me. That's how we should be committed to one another. That's the way that we should be loving one another, treating each other like family. Paul goes on and he says that we should be devoted to one another in love. The Greek word for this word, love, means a wholehearted, committed kind of love. It isn't a kind of love that changes if you wrong the person or you hurt their feelings. No, it's a love that's committed to the person regardless of their behavior. Paul follows this sentence up with a call to action. He says, how can you be devoted in love? Well, go out of your way to honor one another in all things. You see, in the context of Romans 12, what Paul is saying here is that If you love God, if you claim to have been saved by Jesus and therefore are transformed, then you're not going to be a hypocrite. No, you're going to love God by loving one another in Christ like family. You see, we are connected by DNA, and sometimes we're connected by similar interests, but not always. But no, we're united in Christ himself. And that goes way farther than DNA or shared interests. Because of this connection, we're compelled to care for one another in a really intentional way. You see, the people you're sitting with right now at your small group, if they claim to be Christians, they aren't just your friends. They're your brothers or your sisters in Christ. They're people who are part of your spiritual family. So love them and care for them because God has commanded you to. As part of spiritual family, we go out of our way to encourage one another, to speak the best into one another, and to also speak truth, to remind each other of who God is and what it means to love God. So let's be spiritual family this week.